Okay, and we are now live.
Unmuted.
The meeting of the City of Socorro City Council is set to begin. First and foremost, the City of Socorro would like to thank everyone and ask for your patience during this difficult time we have been presented with. Everyone, please remember to silence any electronics to avoid sound interruption. No disruptive behavior or outbursts will be tolerated, and violators are subject to call disconnection and possible prosecution. In accordance with Section 418.016 of the Texas Government Code and by order of the Office of the Governor, issued March 16, 2020, the City Council of the City of Socorro will broadcast the scheduled meeting today, Thursday, September 3rd, 2020, at 6 p.m. from City Hall chambers located at 860 Rio Vista Road, Socorro, Texas, via telephone conference and live stream in order to advance public health goal and practice social distancing to slow the spread of coronavirus COVID-19. The public that signed up and any presenters will be called upon by the presiding officer during the meeting to speak during public comment or their agenda item during the meeting following Government Code 551.042. La reunión del Concilio de la Ciudad de Socorro está por empezar. Primeramente queremos darles las gracias y pedimos su paciencia durante estos momentos críticos que enfrentamos. Favor de poner en silencio todo equipo electrónico para evitar interrupción de sonido. No se va a tolerar ningún tipo de comportamiento perjudicial o revoltoso. A quien no siga estas reglas, su llamada será desconectada y puede ser infraccionado. De acuerdo de sección 418.016 del Código del Gobierno de Texas y por orden de la Oficina del Gobernador, anunciada el 16 de marzo de 2020, el Concilio de las Ciudades de Socorro transmitirá la reunión hoy, jueves 3 de septiembre de 2020, a las 6 p.m., desde la sala del concilio localizada en 860 Rio Vista Road, Socorro, Texas, por medio de teléfono y será transmitida en vivo para tomar medidas preventivas para prevenir la propagación de la enfermedad del virus corona COVID-19 a los demás y por la seguridad del público. El público y los presentadores serán anunciados por el oficial conduciendo la reunión para poder hablar durante la sección del comentario público o después de la discusión del artículo de la agenda por cual se apuntaron siguiendo las reglas del gobierno 551.042.
Six 11, the meeting is now called to order. Mr. Arte, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 3, establishment of quorum.
René Rodríguez.
Here.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran.
Here.
Mayor Elia Garcia.
Here.
Victor Perez.
Here.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Item number 4, public comment.
No speakers for public comment, Mayor.
Before we move on to consent agenda, can we consider a motion to move item number 12 out of consent agenda?
So moved. Which is? Second.
Introduction, first reading and calling for a public hearing of ordinance number 477, amendment number 2, amendment to decrease fiscal year 2019 to 2020.
Mayor. Mayor.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes, ma'am. If we're gonna take 12 out of consent, I would still handle the consent agenda first.
So we vote for, yep, Mayor.
Mr. Rodriguez?
So we we vote just to remove it, and then we take a vote for consent agenda.
You, or that, or you, yes, or you can do them both, so you're voting on items 5 through 11 of the consent agenda, and then reserving 12 as a separate matter.
Okay, so then I'll go ahead and amend my motion to approve the consent agenda and remove from consent agenda item number 12.
Second.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes. Yes.
Item number
Yes.
Introduction, first reading, and calling for a public hearing of ordinance number 477, amendment number 2, amendment to decrease fiscal year 2019 to 2020.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm going to ask if we could delete this item. There's a couple adjustments that just came into the office that we need to make the adjustments. We will call the introduction at our next week's meeting, a special meeting. So we're requesting to
Okay.
delete this item.
So at this time, I'll go ahead and move to delete item number 12.
Second.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos. Ms. Villalobos,
Yes.
At this time, can we consider a motion to move item number 24 next?
So move.
Second.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 24, discussion and action on interlocal agreement with the City of El Paso, Department of Public Health and Environmental Services as of September 1st, 2020 through August 31st, 2021.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is our interlocal agreement that we bring to you every fiscal year for our environmental and our public health. As you all know, through this COVID situation, they've been real partners, and we are seeing, though, an increase from last year of $66,000. We do have two of the attorneys representing the City of El Paso in case you all have any questions.
Was the city given, Mayor, like me?
Mr. Perez?
Was the city given due notice as far as the increase for this contract?
Yes, sir. We actually received the interlocal agreement, and our attorneys have been working on them, and their attorneys, we made a couple of changes, but we do agree with the increase just because of the volume of what they're experiencing this year with the COVID and how it's going to impact us next year.
And then just a follow-up question in terms of budgetary concerns, we will be able to cover this, the added expenses.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 13, second public hearing on the City of Socorro's property tax rate of 0.836995. 18, public hearing is now open. Do we have anybody on the line?
No, Mayor, and we are checking outside because this hearing has to be open to the public. And we did post it that way. There is no one outside for this public hearing. There are no speakers, ma'am.
619, public hearing is now closed. Item number 14, public hearing regarding the 5-year capital improvement program and approved resolution 627 pursuant to section 5.08 and 5.09 of the Socorro City Charter. 619, public hearing is now open. Do we have any speakers on the line?
No, ma'am.
620, public hearing is now closed. Item number 15, discussion and action to approve the use of Kerosene funding for the Socorro Small Business Relief Program.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Alejandra Valadez, Grants Coordinator. As you know, the ongoing COVID-19 public health emergency has really hurt our small business economy, not just here in Socorro, but across the state and the nation as well. We are requesting the use of our CARES Act funding, $150,000 to establish the Socorro Small Business Relief Fund to assist small businesses in Socorro that are struggling or about to close down due to the COVID-19 public health emergency. This project is eligible under Category 5 of the U.S. Treasury Guidance document. Other local entities have already gone ahead and proceeded with this type of program using their CARES Act funding allocations. Most recently, Lift Fund, which is a nonprofit that would administer our Socorro Relief Program, received approximately $110,000 to assist small businesses that are located in colonias. That would mean a lot of our small businesses are eligible to apply. However, that fund, $110,000, is not enough to help our struggling small businesses. So this is why we are requesting, making this request. If you have any questions.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes, I was looking at the backup. It says it's 150,000, which is great, but it says the total project cost is 52. So 52,000 is going to be deducted out of the 152. I mean,
No.
out of the 150, or we're just going to use the CARES Act funding to give it to Lyft so that our community can use that up to 150,000.
I do apologize. What you see right there is a typo. That should have been total project cost 150,000. We will come to you again next council meeting with the actual agreement with Lift Fund. Lift Fund will charge us a small administrative fee to review all of the applications from our small businesses. But that $150,000 would be fully available to our small businesses.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Just to follow up, okay, that's what I want. I thought, because I thought, okay, administrative 52,000, that's a lot. But if it's just a portion, then it's all good. It's just that I thought that 40% or like 38% go to administrative fees. So that's what I wanted to say is that on the backup, it says 52. So that kind of threw me out of a curve. But now that you explained it, it was a typo. It's all good. Thank you for the clarification.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Ms. Valadez, the funding from the city of Socorro will be for small businesses located in Socorro only?
That's correct. And we can also establish criteria with that LIF fund would administer. For example, we can request that businesses be smaller than 10 employees or have a net profit of less than $1 million per year. And that LIF fund would take care of screening our small businesses to see if they're eligible.
Mr. Duran?
Is this a grant or is this a loan?
They can administer both, and that would be up to us to determine whether that would be a grant or a loan. And again, we will bring those details back to you with the agreement from LIF Fund for you all to provide your input and approve that as well.
Thank you.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colombia Lobos.
Yes.
Item number 16, discussion and action regarding an agreement between the city of Socorro and Red Fork Marketing for the development of a portion of the Socorro Youth and Culture Program website and to authorize the city manager or her designee to execute the same.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. This is an item to approve an agreement between the city and Red Fork Marketing to develop the store area of the Socorro Youth and Culture website. As you know, our artists have been working hard trying to make as much of our virtual art classes available to kids and youth that anybody that has an internet connection. And so this agreement will allow us to provide even more virtual services through the website.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colombia Lobos.
Yes.
Item number 17, discussion and action on the preliminary plat approval for Estancias del Parral subdivision being tracks 19B and 20B, block 13, Socorro Grant for a new development.
Make a
Motion
motion.
to approve for discussion. Second.
Mayor and Council. This is a subdivision that was presented back in 2008. It was already approved and Mylars were signed, but the problem is that the subdivision was never recorded. So the approval expired. So we brought it back just to let you know, subdivision is located off of Passmore. It will have 93 lots. It's gonna have 5 streets and 1 funding area. Yes, sir.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Okay, so I just need clarification on it expired. That means that this is a new subdivision, correct? Or they're still planning the same old in 2008?
No, this is a new, we're gonna start from scratch again because the old one already expired. So you can say this is a new subdivision, it's a new submittal.
Okay. So there ain't gonna be no R3s because in 2008, there were R3s and we took it upon ourselves to eliminate R3s. So that's why I wanted the clarification that this is gonna be R2s and above, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Property is actually zoned R2, as you can see on the screen.
Yes.
This is the official zoning of the property, it's R2.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted a clarification because if it was back in 2008, and I just wanted to see that they're not resubmitting the same old plat that it was before. So now, since you're saying it's a new, then it has to abide by our current standards, correct?
That is correct. And I'm
Perfect,
gonna show you the preliminary plat on the screen.
perfect.
This is how it looks. The only difference is this one will have a pond in the middle. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, that you know, is that there is no park in this subdivision, and this is the reason why. There is already an almost 10-acre park in Jardín de Flores, which is almost a block away from the proposed new development. There's sidewalks, and the city is currently working on additional trails that will eventually connect to the new development. So what they're proposing is to pay the 2.5% park fee. Planning and Zoning Commission recommended that the city look for a way to use 2.5% that they're gonna pay, put it in this park, to see if there's a way we can improve it or make it better. I don't know if you have any other questions for this new subdivision.
Mr. Perez?
Job, and I think you already answered Mr. Rodriguez's question, and I had the same question. So this subdivision will have to follow all of the requirements that we have since then implemented, correct, for subdivision?
Yes, that is correct. It will have sidewalks, curbs, gutters. I also forgot to mention one more thing is they are asking for a variance on the width of these two little streets. And the reason for that is because they're dedicating an additional 30 feet. As you can see on the screen, they're dedicating 30 feet for the widening of Passmore. So everything, they're gonna put everything, sidewalks, curbs, gutters, ponding area, everything that is required under Chapter 38 for a new subdivision will be implemented in this new development.
One more question, and I don't know who may answer this. Is there a way that we can establish, at least in the next meeting or so, maybe, or I don't know, I guess in the most timely manner, it may be a way that we can capture that 2% funding that would go to parks for the park and capture it as soon as possible so that we can have it in a account somewhere so that it can be used. So we know that it'll be used for that purpose.
So the first thing that we need to do is, once the preliminary plat is approved, the engineer is gonna work on the construction cost, include streets and curbs and everything. So the 2.5% will be based on whatever is approved today. If the preliminary plat is approved, they're gonna design it the way you see it on the screen. And then they're gonna start working on the estimate of how much it's gonna
Okay,
cost.
so they still estimate the amount
Yes.
of what that 2% would be. Okay.
Yes,
Good.
sir.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Duran?
Ms. Mayor,
Based on the size. Okay, Mike, I'll ask you. Based on the size of the subdivision, how big would the park be if we did put a park in there?
So I think, Mr. Ledon, am I muted? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So I think one of the things, going back to what Mr. Perez had asked, is that I think that what we would bring back to council is how we actually calculate the park fee. By doing that, we can certainly start looking at how we do it from a component of the land size, and then exactly how we make that dedication. So I think at this point is that, I don't want to have a number out there because historically, as you look at other municipalities, the number really isn't a great totality in its relationship. So I think that if we come back, we examine or re-examine the fee for the park, and then we make a dedication component for it through the ordinance. And at that time, certainly we can start making calculations based on the type of the development.
Ms. Villalobos?
I have several questions. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I want to just say that, Mr. Rodriguez, we did not take it upon ourselves to do away with R3s. We actually voted on it. And I know that's how you meant it, sir. I'm not Just wanted to clarify that. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed how small those parks are. They're tiny. They're very small, the parks. I don't agree that we should not have parks in the community just because there's one. And Mr. Terrazas, I apologize. I did not hear the distance between the proposed project and the park that's in the vicinity of it. What was the distance that you said it was?
I didn't give a distance. I just mentioned that it's only a couple of blocks away.
Okay. I know for a fact it's not a couple, like a couple could be two. I think it's a lot farther than that. And then the variance on the street. Do we know the size that we're reducing?
Yes, they're asking for a 2-foot right away,
We're asking for what? I'm sorry?
52 feet.
From what?
So let me put the that on the screen real quick here.
Okay.
Instead of 60 feet, it would be 52 feet wide.
60 feet.
They're reducing it by 8 feet, and it's not all the streets. It's only those two little streets that are in the middle. And the reason is because we had to push all these lots a little closer into the subdivision so that we can dedicate the additional 30 feet. So the variance is only for the two little streets.
And I understand that. Will there be a problem coming in and out of that neighborhood? For example, cars backing up? No?
No.
Okay. Those were my questions. Thank you for answering them.
Thank you.
Mayor, and we do have Jorge Azcárate from the CEA group, in case anybody has questions for him.
Does anybody have any questions?
Good afternoon, Council. This is Jorge Azcárate. If y'all have any questions, we're here to answer any questions that y'all may have. Thank you.
I have one more.
Ms. Alamos, go ahead.
The starting price, do we know of these homes yet? And the sizes?
At this point, ma'am, we do not, the starting home, we do not, starting prices for those homes, we do not know at this point. What we're doing right now is trying to get the preliminary plat approved, and kind of what Mr. Terrazas mentioned is that from this point on, if the plat does get approved, then we can start developing the cost estimates and the preliminary costs to establish the necessary fees, obviously that will be associated with the city of Socorro, and at this point we can also establish the prices for the houses, depending obviously with depending on the development cost. And then the homes were probably where we have a couple of buyers or builders that are interested, and they vary in perimeters from two-story, obviously one-story and two-story homes, but the first floor would be possibly in the range of about 1,200 feet minimum to, and then the second story about another 500 to 600 feet. So the homes that are going to vary probably about 1,500 square feet to about 2,000 square feet.
And I'm sorry, sir, I didn't catch your name. I apologize.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Jorge Azcárate.
Thank you. Those were my questions.
Thank you, ma'am.
Rene Rodriguez.
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran.
Yes.
Victor Perez.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 18, discussion and action on the authorization for the acquisition of properties related to the North Nevadas roadway project.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Rodriguez?
This is very important because we got the approval from TxDOT to go ahead and start doing the PE. For those that forget what PE stands for, is preliminary engineering, so that we can already start engineering this street. This is something that in the MPO we had put since we started pushing the old Nuevo Hueco tanks. So this is something that is just gonna move the street forward so that we can get to it as soon as possible.
Mr. Ugarte?
Mayor, can we ask council if we can take this into executive to discuss with our attorney since we're talking about land acquisition?
I will amend my motion to take this into executive. Before we do that, now, or do we have other items for executive that we need to tackle?
This is the only item we have for executive.
Okay, then I'll make my motion to move into executive and discuss with our attorneys.
Second?
Rene Rodriguez. Rene Rodriguez.
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran.
Yes.
Victor Perez.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
I do ask everybody to allow me some time to move you all so that we can go into executive session. Give me just a moment. Okay, Mayor, we are now back in regular session.
Item number 18.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colombia Lobos.
Yes.
Item number 19, discussion and action to approve work authorization number 5, Bovee Bridge Replacement Project.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Second.
Mayor and Council, Mike Mina, City Planner. What is before you is essentially the final piece in terms of the agreement with regard to moving this project forward. This is a project that is fully funded by the Texas Department of Transportation. And what we're doing here is replacing the bridge at Bovee at Alameda. So ultimately, we have brought before the agreement that has been signed by this body with regard with Texas requirements. And here is that we are asking for the work authorization to be approved to direct Dannenbaum Engineering to start all the work. Is there any questions or comments?
Rene Rodriguez,
My
Aye.
team at work.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colombia Lobos.
Yes.
Item number 20, discussion and action to approve work authorization number 6, Rio Vista Bridge Replacement Project.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Mayor and Council, Mike Mina, City Planner. The other component here along Alameda is also the replacement of the Rio Vista Bridge. This is again fully funded by the Texas Department of Transportation, and the work authorization number 6 here would allow us to direct Dannenbaum Engineering to start to start all work with regard to construction and design. If anybody has any further comments or questions.
Mr. Rodriguez?
This is something that we've been working on, for years. And it's about time that we tackle our bridges. I know that people always say that we don't do anything, but this is proof that it takes time. And that's one of the things that I just want to stress to people is that all of us here in council agree that we need to do a lot of changes, but it takes time to get the funding that is required to do these projects. So I'm very happy that it's already coming to where we need to be so that we can have better bridges here in Socorro.
And let's not forget the bridge on Moon Road, please.
Of course.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colombia Lobos.
Yes.
Item number 21, discussion and action to approve work authorization number 7, Pastor Road Shared Use Path.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Mayor and Council, Mike Mina, City Planner. This is another work authorization for the Passmore Road Shared Use Path. And it would also be a recommendation to approve so that we can have Dannenbaum initiate all the preliminary engineering and design, which will also include the environmental. What I want to stress here, unlike the other two work authorizations that were just recently approved, this is funding that's coming from the El Paso MPO. And the difference here, aside from the agency, although TxDOT still has oversight, is that it is solely for construction. So when we design these projects, it's what in the common language of planning and engineering, we call it cradle to grave. So normally I would be one proponent to say that we always present to the body the total project cost for a project. In this case, because this project was solely being asked in its relationship for construction, what we did is that we showed the construction component of this project as we submitted it to the El Paso MPO. Part of the legwork is that we also work with the engineer so that we have an understanding of what the cost estimates are. And normally we do that through a budget sheet. One of the things in reviewing this work authorization, so that we can bring it before the body, is that the original number that was provided to us by the engineer doesn't reflect the amount that we had received to move this work authorization forward. So we were working with a estimate of just shy of $144,000. We had asked the engineer to re-examine and provide any cost savings opportunities. They were able to bring it down by 38%. And so the number that you see as part of the summary sheet of just over $265,000 is what we're working with now.
And that's coming out of our COs.
Right. So one of the things here, going back to the difference between what you approved with the textile projects, is that these are fully funded by the state. In this case, whenever there is construction that is only made available by the El Paso MPO or another body like this, is that we have to front up the other component. So here we wanted to bring to your attention that when we were working with the engineer, well, with regard to moving this project forward, we did identify this discrepancy. This is something that between the city manager and I, and of course our grant coordinator, we came up with developing a practice that in the near future is that whenever we present any type of project that either comes from the federal or state component, is that we demonstrate through a budget sheet the estimate. That way we are not going through these presentations where we were working with a number that potentially the preliminary engineering design and the environmental may outweigh the benefit of the construction project. So if anybody has any questions or comments, I can certainly expand on them.
Thank you, Mike.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos. Ms. Villalobos?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 22, presentation and discussion regarding tax rate calculations, revenues, and expenditures for the city of Socorro's proposed budget for fiscal year 2021.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I would want to just read the overview from the backup that you have. The fiscal year 2020-2021 budget primary focus is allocating resources towards stormwater management, public safety, overlay projects, enforcement of property maintenance, enhancements, improvements to the systematic approach, and improvement of customer service. The fiscal year 2020-2021 budget outlines has 22,768,819 in public resources to be invested in the city of Socorro. The fiscal year 2020-2021 budget is approximately a 6% decrease from the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget of 24,223,252. Do you all have any questions?
No, it just takes money to move the city forward, that's all.
Thank you.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes,
Item number 23, discussion and action to announce the date on which city council will take final action on the tax rate and on the municipal budget.
Make a motion to approve.
Don't we have to hear the official date and all that other stuff?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have selected September 10th, which is next Thursday, to approve our budget.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Martinez, do we have to state the date on the motion?
No, it would be useful, I would say, I mean, it's probably not legally required, but I would suggest doing that, yes.
What's next Thursday? September what?
September the 10th.
10, make a motion to approve, for September 10th, Thursday.
Second.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos. Is absent. We lost a connection with Ms. Villalobos.
Item
Yeah.
number 25, discussion and action to direct staff to start the lien of abatement cost process for properties 10930 and 10974 Bird Road.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos is absent. Do we have a motion to delete items 26, 27, and 28?
So moved.
Second.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos is absent.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos is absent.
7:08, meeting adjourned.
Bye, everybody.
Night,
Be safe.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Safe. God bless us all.